Okay. Go ahead.
Right. So I know this amount of carrot is the amount of carrot that I want to use for the larger stock. Basically, I already have stock that I made right after Thanksgiving that I froze, and I cooked a couple of chickens since then. So I got a big stock pot. I got more bones to add, and I want to flavor my stock with some aromatics. And if you want to be really fussy about this, you can square off your carrots, which means instead of doing this, you take each edge off and you make it totally square, like a rectangular, like a Lincoln log. But you know, this is just going into stock, so there's no real need to get super fancy with the knife work. Although I'm going to show you actually just that with this little piece of carrot that we saved, because that's going to be part of the clarification. And on clarification, what you do is you take little bits of your vegetables and you need them to be small enough so that they will float in the raft that you're going to make with egg whites. So that's tomorrow's duties, essentially.
Duties.
So tonight we just, we want to get the flavor out of the bones that we have. At some point later on, we're going to put our vegetables in. We're chopping them ahead because nobody likes to chop vegetables at 1 in the morning. Furthermore, sometimes drinking is involved in the morning, and drinking and knife work don't necessarily go hand in hand, because I have scars that will prove that. So,
I like the challenge.
Right, yeah. That's me about making pâte de choux at 4 a.m. Anyway, a nice gash in my thumb from that. So, yeah, maiming yourself with knives is a learning experience. And I found that, in general, the sharper your knives are, the less the damage. So, as this is a sharp knife, if I was just to slash myself in the hand, it would be a cleaner cut than if this were a dull knife. So a dull knife is really dangerous because not only does the knife, see when the knife goes down, it grips whatever it is you're cutting. So a dull knife tends to slip. That's dangerous. And it will cause more kind of blunt damage to your body upon making contact. All right, so as I was saying earlier, so the fussy way to do this would be to just totally square off this piece of vegetable here, so it is a uniform rectangle, right? And I'll take all these scrappy bits and put them with the big stock, right? I want to make basically what's called a brunoise, which is like is it an 1/8 or a 1/16 of an inch? I'm not going to go a 1/16 of an inch. So it's like an 1/8 of an inch.
It's an 1/8 today.
Alright, it's an 1/8 today. So we're making these little 1/8 inch panels here. As you can see, not totally exact, but good enough for government work. And again, this is going into stock. So these panels then become, julienne, right? So we go lengthwise, boom. Yoink, right? And then there's small dice. It's a small dice, it's not really a brunoise. Brunoise would be much smaller than this and much more precise. So a brunoise is like a confetti cut. But this is pretty small dice for our money. And if you have pre-arthritic hands like me, this is a real pain in the ass. So again, just line them up. And then down, right, always curl your fingers, line them up again, and then just work through them. And we could go a lot more precisely, but this is just for stock. So there's our little kind of fine dice there, that's how you do it. So this goes here. Okay. And similarly, we got let's say you want roughly the same amount of celery, which I rinsed. And I know this kind of they look ugly, but that's fine for stock. So we just lob this in. Normally, we would discard this if this was like, something we wanted to put on a plate, present to somebody, just because of the browning. But I assure you, it's clean. So smells like celery. I love that smell. Same thing. We would trim. We'd trim the stems off at the leaf. But we love the leaves in stock.
Oh yeah.
And none of these are really too wide. So we don't, if these were a little bit broader, maybe we would go have them. But the way they are now, I think we could just do kind of, just big 1-inch pieces. These could go bigger than the carrots. Obviously, they're going to take longer to cook, or shorter to cook, sorry, than the carrots will. So carrots we have a relatively fine, like a 1/2-inch dice. These, we've got more than 1-inch dice, or cut, or whatever, chop, if you will. And all that beautiful stuff goes in here. And so there's some debate in this house as to the proper way to do an onion. Actually,
there shouldn't be. There's only one.
Right, I know there's only one way. Just I'll trim this a little bit. Okay, so we're taking the head off of the lid off of the onion. This is the stem end. So if you were green onions, the green part will come out of here. This is the root end, goes through the ground. So root end up, half it, boom. That makes it easy to peel. Easier to peel. I got the butterfingers today. Yeah. If we need, then we can always do one of these things and just get it started. But basically, there you have it. And I'll do that for the other guy here. Sometimes they're a little uncooperative, but trust me, this is easier than the alternative. Also, if you're in a hurry, you can just be like fucking and take off like the last layer of onion, like this.
That's how I roll.
Yeah.
It's really rubbery anyway, but for stock it's fine.
That's for stock, right? So even in stock, you could even include the paper in stock if you wanted to. Like, there's cooks that do that. There's cooks that include the paper. And garlic for stocks, and
I think Grandma threw them in whole.
Right. Yeah, that's so that's Grandma versus Jacques Pepin. So I'm gonna make a dice here. So what I'm doing is I'm just doing little kind of one of these like 1/2-inch pieces here. And sometimes they say draw it across here. I don't think there's any point doing that because of the way that the onion is structured, it's just gonna fall apart on its own.
For a dice, I always do it.
Yeah, if it was a smaller dice, then yeah, you would want to draw across. And then, so we might as well throw the stem in too. Usually you don't want to eat the stem, but
it's just stock.
Yeah, it's just stock, right? So I am going to take half of it, reserve it for that guy. So we'll take this.
I mean, a little bowl.
Yeah, a little bowl. So this one, boom, big pieces. Boom, boom. Done. So what Jeanette is talking about here, basically is like you would go across maybe a couple times, and then down definitely a few times. This level, this is when it begins to get a little bit teary, even if you have a sharp knife. And then keep your thumb tucked in, keep your fingers tucked in, and you will not lose them.
Keep it tight, keep it right.
Yep. Yeah, and, this is that, again, a decorative cut, so we can kind of fake it a little bit. So, here we go. And of course, we're I'm missing. I wanted to take maybe yeah, one of the more tender. So this is closer to the heart of the celery, and since we are doing a small dice, we're gonna do, you know, we're gonna do it like this, julienne it, and then oops, back there.
I'm back off those onions.
Yeah, sorry. And then this will just kind of try to chop here on an angle, and then we're gonna go back at the other angle. Get it good. So there is our Mirepoix, which is named after a German general for stock. This is our Mirepoix for clarification or making consomme. And that's it for this knife skills course. You can turn the video off.